And we're live again. Take two. After much ado about nothing. What we wanted to do, we ended up not being able to do. So we just came back and dropped back and punted, and here we are again. So I guess it's going to take a few minutes for people to get in here. But
how's everybody's Sunday?
Mine's been all right. My brother passed through, so I got to eat lunch with him today.
Nice.
Haven't seen him in a while. He keeps sending me properties up in West Virginia. The last one he sent me was 206 acres with a house for $126,500.
Wow. 206 acres of rock and mountain.
Probably like this.
Yeah, straight up a hill.
Probably straight up the hill.
Yeah.
But it was pretty good. So.
And a pump house on the land.
Probably have to pump your own water. But other than that, everything's been pretty good. Can't complain about it. Well, I could, but nobody would listen.
What's the point, eh?
Yeah, I know, it's just another day in paradise. But I did sell, some honey this weekend, and surprised me because I didn't set out the table. They just people just started showing up.
Nice.
And since they were showing up, I was selling. Whoops. I just unmute. I did. Let me get over here and I'll pop a link. But we sold, well, mute. There we go. Sorry about that echo. You guys probably
I'm fussing with my hand plane here. Well, you can't see what I'm messing with, but I'm just trying to set the blade on my hand plane. This is a beautiful little Stanley Sweetheart number 4, I think it is. Beautiful little plane. Yeah, number 4. I don't use it much, but I had to do some trimming that I couldn't get on my saw. So break down and use the hand tools the old way.
There's James. Hey, James. Good to see you.
How are you guys?
Captain McNally.
A Sunday afternoon chat. I haven't been on one of these for a while.
Yeah.
Me neither. Me neither. But I've sold some honey. People are buying the 3-pound bottle. A guy came the other day, he bought 4 of them. So looks good, man. That's good looking.
I spent all day yesterday bottling honey. So what did I say? I bottled honey? 740 pounds.
I was surprised. My honey was really thick, but it wasn't crystallized. I mean, some of the buckets had a little bit of crystallization in it, but not enough that it was like cloudy or anything. So I just poured them in the old bottling tank and flipped the switch on it and warming it up to decrystallize it a little bit and jar it up.
What was that, Brad?
I don't think you've seen this.
I haven't. What are you making?
It's a store display. It's for
nice.
They just need to take and get it all wax dipped so it's legit.
Yeah, get it wax dipped. So it'll have a number of shelves in it. Got the date cut for the shelves.
Nice.
We have jars down there, plus I'm planning to get all artistic.
Did you say autistic?
Well, that's already that. For the back, I'm going to use medium foundation.
Perfect.
So that you'll see that through.
Yeah, actually, that's what I did on mine, Brad. I don't know if you ever saw.
Nice honeycomb pattern, and
Yeah,
makes me happy.
I actually used a hive box up top, and then I put that at the back, and it's amazing how many people swung by just simply because it was made out of hive boxes and that foundation at the back. That was
my first instinct was, because what I've done in the past is to take a deep hive body and put it on its side and put a divider in the middle. Well, it's a 5 by double 5 nuke box, really, right?
Got it.
10
Yep.
frame box with a divider in the middle.
Yep.
Well, that's perfect size for these jars. And I thought, I'll just put some of those, screw them together, and I would have done that. But then I thought, that sounds like it's going to be really heavy. so then I thought, well, I'll just actually build something. You know, I've got hive body sides,
Yep. Perfect.
you know, jointed together and all the way down. So it's 3 boxes high, which is about 5 feet, which is perfect. It's, you know, about 18 inches deep, which is perfect, and about 20 inches wide, which is perfect.
There you go.
So, and it, you know, save a little bit, so it won't be quite as
Do-
heavy.
Do the stores down there charge you per square foot for display fees and stuff like that too, Brad?
No, well, none of the stores I am in do.
Okay.
And this is for the Sobeys. Well, it's a Safeway store, but it's
Yep.
owned by Sobeys, and they typically would. However, they have a buy local program.
Yep.
It's really a separate entity than all of the other suppliers, so they
Got it.
handle us differently.
Yep.
And they don't make us pay for display
Perfect.
space, which is good because that's expensive. Plus, we deliver to the door, so we don't pay distribution. You know, all that kind of thing. It's
Yep.
exactly the same experience as just going to my local small independent grocer. I
Perfect.
just bring it in the front door and take it to the manager's office and say, "Here's your honey," and then, you know, there are some pains dealing with them, but
Yep. Perfect.
Can't
No,
have
that looks great. No, we got a big market coming up here. So our big Christmas market starts. What is it? We can set up Wednesday, and it goes all day Thursday, all day Friday, and all day Saturday. So
Is that the same one you did the live from last year?
Nope, that was out at Sexsmith. So this one here is probably about 10 times that size.
Wow.
So, well, let's put it this way: our table number is 320 and 321. You know, there's I think they said there's 420 tables there this year.
Wow. That's pretty good. Should be able to. Is there going to be a lot of beekeepers there, or are you going to be the only one?
No, I think there's usually 3 or 4 there. Plus, I'll be there this year. So now, having said that, out of all of that, it's interesting because you have all these people that come from Edmonton and Calgary and BC, and they're all like, "Oh, buy your local honey." There's only 2 of us here that are actually local. So,
Well, good. They're advertising for you.
yeah. So,
That's the I find that people in our local area, I mean, they have to pass grocery stores on both sides to get to my place to buy honey from me. And I'm not cheaper than the grocery store.
right.
So it does, I don't know if it's a testament to the quality of the honey or if it's more a testament to the quality of the community that they
Probably
would rather support a local vendor.
Yeah.
So,
well, it was interesting. So as you guys know, I was down south for the last couple of weeks. And I found out Grenada actually has a whole honey beekeeping association and everything down there.
member of 3?
No, actually, I think there was 22 members. Now, I did stop by to see one of the larger honey producers down there. And they're one of the larger honey producers, and I think they had 28 hives. So they still do everything down there, all manual. I mean, they uncap with a bread knife. They hand spin, like it is all it is all the hard way, right? But they can't get any of the equipment. I was showing them some videos on my iPad of some of the equipment, and even the way I did it last year with my little 12 frame extractor. They have nothing like that down there at all.
You're talking Grenada, the island, right?
Correct.
Holy cow.
Yeah,
Okay.
The West Indies. Yeah, very south of the West Indies. So now the island's not very big. So everybody has to remember it's only 12 miles wide and 21 miles long. So to have that many beekeepers in there, that's pretty darn good. I mean, my bees up here probably cover 2 or 3 times the size of that island, right? but it was interesting. None of them know what creamed honey is. They've never ever heard of creamed honey.
They live in South Carolina.
Yeah, there you go. Flavored honey. So Grenada is one of the larger exports of cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, and they never heard of flavored honey. So what's that?
That's pumpkin spice recipe right there.
Absolutely. So we mucked around there for a little bit, and I showed them a little bit of what they could do with some of their honey, and their eyes just lit up. So
You might have just opened a whole new market in Grenada. If they just have to keep it refrigerated.
well, it gets to 32, so I mean you could still have a creamed honey down there. It would be a very creamy creamed honey, but it would be a creamed honey. So
Yeah, I've been to that island one time when I was in the service, and I enjoyed it. I liked it. People were friendly.
you know what? I never saying people are friendly down there is really an understatement. I'll give you so I was walking back and forth. I did a lot of walking around and down there, different places, doing a few different things. And the sky just absolutely opened up one. And I was walking down this, I want to say it was a back alley, but it was really kind of more like a street. And keep in mind, people are very humble down there, and there was these two gentlemen sitting on their porch, which was probably, I don't know, 8 feet by 8 feet, maybe. And they had a couple pieces of metal on top of it, kind of, to shade them a little bit. And I was walking by, and I was getting absolutely soaked. And they're like, "Come on in, man, come on in." So you're going to get all wet out there. So stepped in underneath there with them for a little bit. I was just happy to be out of the rain. Now the rain was nice and warm, but nope. He went inside. He got me a cold beer, and he says, "Sit down and chill a while." He says, "The rain will stop in 5 minutes." He says, "Have a."
How'd you like that formaldehyde beer they got down there? It does. You can definitely taste what they use in it.
Carob.
Yep.
So
I've got a picture around here somewhere of me holding one of those up in Grenada.
Well, the beer is cheaper than pop, and pop is cheaper than water. So you drink beer.
Right.
So
Let's see who all we got in the chat here. We got a good bit. But I take it your bees are all tucked away like Brad's are.
mine have been tucked away since they've been in there for over a month. So mine have been they were all in there by the 1st of November. And now we've got, actually, we're just out Christmas tree hunting here earlier today, and there's 3 to 4 feet of snow. And we left today, and it was supposed to be, with the wind chill, I think it was supposed to be minus 31. I think the warmest it's going to get is like minus 16 or minus 18 degrees Celsius. So they've been all tucked away. It has been cold, and we are actually getting a typical winter again. So I hope that's going to equate to a typical spring and summer too. So we're definitely going to have some moisture anyway. So that's good.
Well, we've been like right now, I think it's a high. It's 48 degrees Fahrenheit today. So it's been colder than normal for the last few days here. But it's supposed to warm back up next week. So we'll see how it goes. Just my bipolar bees got to fly, then stay in, then fly, then stay in. So they don't know what they want to do.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many I'll have left to fly. So let's just say this year was a learning year for sure for me. So
yeah, I mean, mine's been that way too, kind of up and down. I expected to have more than I anticipate now. So we'll see. We just do what we can do,
Well, a lot of people haven't got many updates for me. So, one of the things that I will say is, thank goodness for Alan, because the number of hives that we had this year and a full-time job, definitely overwhelming, especially come harvest season, even with the big extraction line. So yeah, a lot of work. The mite loads up here, just with the weather and the nectar flow and stop, flow and stop, flow and stop cycles kicked our butt. I couldn't figure out why I had at the end of the year. I was having hives die left and right. I mean, absolutely left and right. I would take some mite shapes. My mite counts weren't very high, but I did send a bunch of bees in, and my virus loads were through the roof. So what I found, some hives would be absolutely loaded with mites, and some would have very, very few mites. So almost like mite bombs, if you would, throughout. But unfortunately, we ended up losing, before we went into the barn, we ended up losing more than 50% of our hives. So what that's going to equate to coming out of the barn, I don't know. I mean, we keep going in there and we keep shoveling up more dead bees and more dead bees. So there's still some in there. But what we're gonna have here come this spring, it's anybody's guess. Right now, I have a lot of empty equipment that needs to be filled this spring. So,
And you're going to do it like you have in the past, just grafting your own queens, or you're going to have to go outside to rebuild quicker?
I do not know at this point. So that's something that Alan and I are going to have to sit down and discuss. Kind of to Brad's point, I think I have one or two queens that their offspring and I think they're a little bit more susceptible to looking after the mites. I have some queens that aren't, and I think that's why I have some hives that have extremely low mite counts and have others that have extremely high mite counts. So I never really kept track of that, and I should have. I mean, Brad mentioned it to me before, but I'm definitely going to be paying attention to that this year. So.
Well, this year I did not draft, and I probably should have, even though I didn't. I knew I had those other 25 queens come in, but I probably would have been better off having just graft. First of all, it would have given me practice at grafting, right? Extra practice. Now, when I start, it's not that I'm starting over and don't know what I'm doing, but my muscle memory from the first time I did it is now gone, right? So now I'm relearning the technique and everything. But this year coming up will definitely be a graft year for me.
There you go.
And
our queen program started off a little slow, so we made all those little mini mating nukes, of which once we got the frames drawn out and we have comb in there, they worked really well. It just took a long time to get those little frames drawn out. So, but we've got most of those drawn out now, and in fact, I'm humming and hawing about building, another couple. To be honest with you, so those worked out really, really well. And I'd suggest that if anybody wants to look at doing it, I mean, all of a sudden you've got 4 hives in the location of a one standard hive. And those little frames are so easy. You can pull those out. You can find the queen really, really quick. So the other problem we had up here this year was the wasps and the hornets. Absolutely horrendous. I literally watched the wasps and hornets clean out a hive. And to the point where the hornets were literally going in inside the hive and coming back out and carrying a bee away with them. And they just in and out by the hundreds. So I've been, putting my brain power together here, and I think I got a little surprise coming for those wasps and hornets this year. So I think I figured out a way how I can take care of them. And so that will definitely help. But other than that, it's just been like I say, everything's put away. So now I'm working on things for the off season.
Well, I didn't notice that you put a video up on your trip on why you went down there. Now I know why you went down there, but I'm not going to say.
It's coming.
It's coming still.
Yeah, it's coming. So,
did you do it or did you not do it? Is the question.
I took the plunge. So,
okay.
Yep.
Now, is that being delivered to you there, or is it staying where it's at?
No, it'll stay where it's at. Yeah. So what he's alluding to is I've mentioned on the channel here a few times. I mean, this beekeeping is, as I'm building this up, this is my retirement job. So, but beekeeping is seasonal. So is sailing. So I was down in Grenada taking a look at doing two things. I was down there finishing on my 101 and 104. So getting those
There we go.
getting those finished off. So all of those courses are done. So I can now captain and or skipper a sailboat up to, I think it's 48 feet or 51 feet or something like that. And then while I was down there, I was looking at sailboats. So my wife and I, we did buy a sailboat. We take possession of it the 15th of January of this year. So we will be beekeeping up here in the summer and sailing the Caribbean in the winter is kind of what the plan will be. Now, I still got, everything goes good. I'm hoping for still another 3, 4, maybe even 5 years at the mill. But, it'll just give me time to get that experience and everything like that all at the same time. So, yeah, we're kind of looking forward to it. We're going down in the new year to, I've been on the boat. I've actually had the boat out and everything like that. So I've been there, done that, but my wife hasn't seen it yet. So she's going to come down and we're going to do some cleanup. It does require a little bit of work, so I'm going to get that done too this bee season. So over from April until basically November, I'll be pulling it out of the water. We're going to do some work and stuff like that to it and do a few things, get a few things fixed up so that it'll be ready for us next fall.
That'll be good. Well, I mean, so I guess the question is, as far as the bees, yes, the bees are in the barn. However,
Correct.
the honey that you pull off in the summertime, you usually sell over the winter till next year. So
Correct.
Is it something where you found a way to sell it all while you're not there, kind of like to the co-op or?
So yes and no. So I was talking to Derek here at the at BMade. So right now, no. But the memberships and everything like that are coming up here due again. So he was he didn't say yes for sure, but he was pretty sure that they should be able to get my membership and stuff like that completed here within the next year. So then it'll be, yeah, once the honey is done, we will drop it off the co-op and that will be done as well.
Well, that'd be good. At least then at the end of the season, they come get it. You put the bees in the barn and off to the Caribbean.
Correct. Yep.
So not bad. It's kind of retirement plan I need. I could go right now. Let's go right now. Just pack everything up.
Well, it's funny because everybody keeps saying, "Oh, you're selling everything," and I'm not selling anything. And I thoroughly enjoy working my bees, but like I said, that's kind of the plan for the next, well, as long as my health holds out, I guess.
That'll be good. I mean, I don't know all the stipulations you need to say, hey, we're going to go from Grenada to St. Thomas or whatever.
It's pretty easy. You stop by the immigration and customs office. You check out of one country. Every country's have a few different rules and regulations, but basically you've got 24 hours from the time you leave there to leave the country. You get to the next country, you go to immigration and customs, and you check in at the next country, and so on and so forth. And you can just keep on doing it. Now, different countries have all sorts of stipulations. Some, you can only be there for, say, 30 days. Some you might get a 1 month or 2 months. They call it a cruising permit. Some you might have to renew every 90 days. They're all a little bit different.
You got autopilot on that thing so you can get some sleep?
Yes, sir. Yeah, actually, it's pretty well equipped. So most of the navionics and stuff like that are new in 2021, 2022, 2023 type thing. New sales in 2020, hardly been used since then. I think it's a very, very good boat. So 38 feet. So it's not a small boat, but it's not a big one either.
Well, and if you've never experienced the sky at night out at sea when there's nothing near you, you can see probably every star that ever existed in the sky. It's pretty clear for the most part.
Yeah,
Other
we're
than
kind we're
this
kind
part.
of yeah, we're kind of used to that up here. I mean, we can get out in the dark, and our skies are pretty clear, and we can see most stars. Out here, quite often. We don't have a whole bunch of light pollution or
I
anything.
can't see anything between the trees and the smog, I guess. I don't know.
So yeah, that's what I've been busy doing here over the last little bit. So lots of studying, lots of out there hands-on doing it and stuff. So
See, that's the Canadian. See, I've said it before. Only in Canada could you be a bus driver, a woodworker, an airplane pilot, in charge of the maintenance facility, a full-time beekeeper, and now a sailboat captain. Like, that's what the winners do, right? I think it's the winner. Well, we can't go outside. We'll learn how to sail a sailboat this week. So
it was pretty good. So we had a good time. Actually, I was down there with two people from Texas. Well, actually, I think Kenny was from Texas, and I think Amy was from Boston. And then one individual also on the boat was from Oregon. So I was kind of I was the odd man out. However, we were on a boat called the Puffin, of which I'm going to give Brad's attention here. It was registered out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, down in Grenada. So I went all the way down there to get on a boat registered in Winnipeg.
There's Morgan. Hey, Morgan.
Hey, long time no see.
You look sunburnt, man. Where you been?
Just out and about.
Grenada?
It's snowing in Indiana.
But the sun's still shining when I was out in the woods.
You got you a deer?
I got 2 so far this year.
2. I had one. I thought I was going to have a new pet. I came home from work and it was stuck in my old pig pen where it had jumped the fence. And it was stuck. It kept jumping into the fence. And then it turned around and went the other way and cleared the fence going out.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it turned around and it ran into the freezer.
Yeah. If I would have had my gun ahead of time, it would have. It would have got right in the freezer. So, let's see.
Yeah, just last week I finally got my bees all got the sugar put on them and everything for winter.
They should do pretty good. But you don't usually have a hard time overwintering your bees, do you?
No, actually, I've never lost a hive yet in the wintertime. I lost one this summer.
I usually lose them, after the honey flow this time of year. And that brings up something that I wanted to talk about before, was time on feeding. And I know it's going to change geographically, right? Based on where you're at and what's blooming and everything. But typically what I've been doing is harvesting my honey and then just leaving them to get whatever's left out there to bring back home. And I think I'm changing my stance on that now to where here anyway, it's going to be pull the honey and immediately put feed right to them. Because I think what's happening in my case, why I get the number 17 every year, is because the really strong ones can bring it in and give themselves something until I decide to put the feed on, where the weaker ones, or they're maybe not even really weak, they're just less population in them at that time.
They're probably robbed by the strong ones.
They're either robbed by the strong ones or they just starve out. They just eat themselves out of house and home. So next year, that's how it's going to be. It's going to be pull the honey, throw the feed right on them. If they don't want it, they won't take it, right? Exactly. And if they need it, they're going to eat it. So that's what we're going to do. But so when you pull your honey, it's at the end of the season, right? So that's exactly what you do. You pull your honey and throw feed right to them, right?
Who are you talking to, me?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, exactly. I pull the honey and the feed goes on probably the next day.
Because Brad's in woodworker mode.
But yeah, I mean, by the time we're pulling the honey, there's sometimes there's a little, like this year we had probably one of our larger flows came after I pulled the, and they same thing. The buckets sat there. They just didn't use the buckets, but as soon as that flow stopped, they emptied those buckets in no time. So like I say, we had a really, really strange year up there this year. So, I actually counted six times the nectar flow started and stopped. And when it stopped for, 7 to 10 days, and then it would start again. And then it would flow for 1, maybe 2 days and then stop. I'm very fortunate to get what honey I did get. Especially with the strange year. But yeah, obviously we didn't feed them there because we didn't want sugar water in our honey. But when we were done, we pulled the honey. We were feeding them right away the next day.
Yeah, I need to adopt that plan. Todd, what you been up to with your bees?
Not much. Just cleaning up a little. I have some boxes out there right now that I'm letting them rob out and clean up the frames, and then I'll bring them back over here, stack them in the back. I've got 660 frames I have to babysit. So drawn comb. So
speaking of drawn comb, I backed my. Actually, I bumped a stack of empty boxes with frames in them, and when I was going out to meet my brother for lunch today, and then when I came home, one of my brand new boxes that had the laser etched logo in it is no bueno. It's broke. It is not only broke, it's unrepairable now. So it got super duty today. It got turned into super duty. So cashed it out on accident.
There you go. Well, I got to start. Actually, I just fired the heater out there. So I probably have 500, another 1,000 frames for sure put together, and then get them all put together. Get them out of the wood shop. I got to make a bunch more bee escapes. Got to get them done and get them out of the wood shop. And then, well, unfortunately, my wife probably won't be able to park in the garage this year because we had so many. We lost so many hives that I think Alan's garage is full of sugar, and my garage is full of sugar. So I think we probably end up with I don't know. There's got to be 4 pallets, I guess, of sugar out there that we didn't end up using this year.
Hey, we got a head start on next year.
That's
of course, it's probably going to be like a concrete block in that bag.
Oh no, it's both of the garages.
Hey, John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt.
who are you talking to?
Brad.
Oh.
What are you doing now? Adding shelves or adding backing?
No, I just I had taken the front and the back off of it. I take the front and back part because it's kind of 2 units that I screwed together, and I wanted to make a slight adjustment. So I'm just trying to get everything aligned real nice, and it's fighting me every step of the way because I got the grooves for the shelves, and if those don't line up,
That's called woodworking, Brad.
What's that?
I say it fights you all the way because it's called woodworking.
Right.
It's going to be a good looking display.
Oh yeah. Well, thanks.
Are you gonna you're not gonna attach the shelves, are you? You're just gonna slide them in so they're adjustable?
I'll attach them for a couple of reasons. It's kind of a tall box, and it'll tend to rack. So I'm gonna screw them in from the sides. The screws will be visible, but it's a rustic piece anyway. And also, because these are 3 pieces, there's joint here. And, honey is heavy. This is going to be in a public space. This has got to be damn sure it's not going to fail at any way. And so that's kind of why I want to attach the 2 sides so that there's no likelihood of anything ever going wrong here.
Till grandma hits it with her cart.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I just talked to my brother-in-law, his girlfriend. She runs a daycare, and like a big one. And I've taken boxes over there. You've seen colorful boxes in my apiary, and they've painted those. I've taken them over there a couple times. And so I messaged her and I said, "You want to paint this?" I sent her a picture of it. She said, "Oh yeah." She said, "We'll put some of our older kids on it and do some nice whatever, flowers or bees or whatever they want to do." So I'm going to paint it a base color, just a yellow, right? And then I'll take it over there. They can do some artwork. I'll bring it back, and then maybe just polyurethane it.
Be a
I'll
good
make
looking
it-
display. Do you already have a store that wants that display, or are you doing
Yeah,
it
they
in case?
asked me to bring one. So
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Well, that'll be good.
So not much too amazing here. Just what's going on. Not too much excitement.
Yeah, when
Well,
Just snow.
yeah, I can't complain though. Doug has been reporting what he's getting, and boy, he's got a lot more snow than I've got.
I'm going to show you. I am going to complain about this snow here, and I'll show you why. So that's like 3 feet of snow out there. I haven't even shoveled it from my door, and it comes up my door.
Drifted right up to the house. Eh?
Oh, it's crazy.
Getting out the door.
Yep, it's crazy.
That's
Can't
Are you
go.
on holiday right now?
Me?
Yeah. Or you
No.
go back to work tomorrow?
Oh, no, I was at work this past week, too. So,
The
no rest for the stupid. I mean, wicked.
yeah, me neither. I got to go to work tomorrow as well, or tonight, whatever you want to call it.
I've been
I tell
off
you,
this week.
this work really is overrated.
Is overrated? Yeah. It's the only 4-letter word that they make you say every day.
That's one way to describe it.
The Steve said he overproduced more honey than he needed, so no feeding bees this year. That's good. I got to scrape and nickel and dime for every ounce of honey I get, but I still have 4 more buckets plus the 2 buckets I just put in the bottling tank. Actually, a little bit more than 2. The one empty. And then I've got a bunch of pint jars already jarred up, some 1-pounders already jarred up, a bunch of creamed honey already made. So
Yeah.
I just have to bottle some more 3-pound jars.
There you go. Well, the honey house is full of honey. The garage is full of honey. Everything, every container I've got to sell is full of honey. And
You're not running out anytime soon?
well, I hope to sell out again this year.
If I did more like Brian at Flower Street and went to a bunch of shows and stuff, I probably could sell more, but I just don't have the want to, I guess, the desire to go out and sit at a table. If it were something like, like you did the festival last year, what was that like? That was just one day, or was that 2 days?
2 days. This one here is 3 days coming up this weekend.
Maybe once or twice wouldn't be bad. But by the time I find out there's an event, usually the event's already going on, already happening, right? So it's like, it's too late about that. But
Well, we're actually doing something pretty interesting here this time. So I'm sharing a table, but I'm sharing a table with people who buy my and use my honey to make goods. So one she makes a dill almond honey. So a dill almond, like she has a kitchen. So she makes a honey dill almond and a something cashew. Which was it? Anyways, it was a honey cashew that she makes with them too. And my goodness, those things are good. But everything she makes, all three of us that are sharing the two booths and stuff that we got, all use each other's products. So in return, I use this other lady. She makes baskets and stuff, and all of my honey and stuff goes into her baskets. And in return, she makes baskets that I give to the farmers. That I put my bees and stuff on. So all three of us work together with each other. So it should turn out really, really good because, I'm selling honey, but I'm also selling products that they make for me. They're selling their products, but they're all selling the products. They buy the honey from me, and so it really is going to work out quite well, I think.
Right.
Sounds like it.
Co-oping.
Yep. So here's something I don't know if anybody's ever heard of. I saw it down there in Grenada. So they take nuts and they crush the nuts down. So in some cases, I think one was walnuts and cashews. One was peanuts and almonds. But anyways, they crush these nuts down. They put them into the honey, and then they jar it that way. Actually, I think they fill the jar, and then they fill it with the nuts, and then they fill the rest of it with honey. And they use it as a chewable spread. Have you guys ever heard of that? Make some up here. I'm gonna
Similar. It's called Nutella, but I don't think they use the shells.
No, this was actually a little bit different. Like the nuts weren't that bad, it was almost like a chunky peanut butter, but it was like a chunky honey. And
Wow.
They the things that they sell down there, of which I've never seen before. But the trick they were saying is you got to make it up in advance too, because it takes a little bit of time for the honey to absorb the oils from the nuts. So, and vice versa. So I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but I'm going to try some.
Won't hurt to try it out. See how it works.
Bob, I did the cream honey and the cinnamon went great. I got to make some more, and I got people wanting peanut butter because I found the peanut butter powder. So I got to try making some of that. So.
Well, what I'm going to do is since I just put 10 gallons in my bottler that's warming up, I'm going to then take half of that, or 5 gallons. It's actually a little bit more, but 5 gallons and restrain it, because then it'll be decrystallized entirely, and let it cool down. And then I'm going to pour it into my creamer. So the creamed honey that's in there will seed the rest of my honey, and I'll just have the other batch going. And I'm thinking that I'm going to just do some plain, and I might even just charge it at, since it doesn't have any flavors, the same as my regular honey, and market it just as for people's coffee and sweetener, right? They can just spoon it out and spoon it in, like in Canada, where it's not a big thing here. I just need to find a bigger jar that'll hold a pound or so of honey, so I'm not breaking people's head off every time they come to buy honey. But guy bought 2 hot honeys and 4 3-pounders yesterday, or day before yesterday, and said $140, no discount,
Right.
And he whipped out the cash and took his honey. So I feel pretty good when I get stuff like that, where I'm just sitting here, on the internet or whatever, and hey, I'm on my way over. Great. What do you want? I'll have it bagged up for you. Go out to the warmer, take out what they want, make sure it's got labels on it, bag it up, hand it to them, done. Easy peasy.
It got cold here in the last couple days.
Define cold.
For you, it's probably not, but for us, it's cold. We're down in the teens for a low and like in the 20s, mid to upper 20s for a high.
There you go. Well, I'll tell you, down there in Grenada, I think the coldest it got was 31 degrees Celsius. The warmest it got was 34 degrees Celsius. When I stepped on the air or off the airplane out here, I think it was minus 28. So I think it was a 56 degrees Celsius temperature change. The shrinkage was pretty high. Right now, I'm not doing anything with the wax currently. I'm basically hanging on to it because
Need to re-wax frames.
I'm gonna have to re-wax a whole pile of frames. Yeah,
I got to do that too because I noticed that some of the ones that waxed and were drawn out that have been out in my boxes outside that were on foundation, they've shrunk and peeled away from the foundation.
got it.
So to be redone. So it's constant battle.
Well, I'm working on something to clean the wax a little bit better there too. So that way I can basically have it all done and cleaned and rendered. Actually, about 3 different renderings all on the same time it's warmed up. So working on that one too. And
You got enough steamers. You should be able to steam it through a cheesecloth or something. Just set them on there and cheese it on a cheesecloth with the steamer and just let it go through the cheesecloth and catch all the crap.
There you go. Well, and I got a couple modifications I want to do to my clarifier too. So that worked quite well this year.
Let's see. Just trying to see if there's any posts on there, but yeah, that was the really hadn't been much going on around here, just work, and if you think work sucks, that you get up at 1 a.m. sucks even more.
Well, I've been catching lots of flack from a lot of people. I'm getting lots of messages and stuff. They're like, how come you're not uploading videos? How come you're not doing this? I haven't seen a video from you in a while. You know what? When you're a 2-man operation with a few hundred hives, yes, we shot lots of video. I've got it now, and I'll start editing it now. But there's no time. Unfortunately, I had zero time to do any editing. I mean, it was literally get up in the morning, go to work, come home from the full-time job, hit the apiary until it's dark or beyond, and you're into bed again. So I do apologize to the viewers and stuff out there, but we grew so much, and unfortunately something had to give, and unfortunately it was YouTube that lost out. But I do have lots of video. I do have lots of SD cards. I just now that winter's here and things are slowed down a little bit, I'll start getting some of them edited.
Look, Brad's got snow too.
Don't slip on the ice, Brad.
Yeah, we've seen that already.
Not this year.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, thank goodness. I'm trying to be careful, but
I'm finding as we get older, we don't bounce nearly as well, just for the record.
and the bounce hurts longer.
It does.
I spent 2 days at the VA with my dad getting his wrist x-rayed this week because he fell out in the woods.
Bob, you remember this place?
Yes, sir. I've been right where you're standing.
I don't think this one's calibrated, but it's
3 degrees, 51%.
3 degrees. 51 is 51 is acceptable. It's about middle of the range for what you want for humidity, I guess.
Well, hey, Ian.
Ian's in.
Ian's in the chat. Yeah.
The big guys here.
That's the thing with the phone. I can't see chat and the screen.
Yeah, I have that with my iPad too, Brad. Unfortunately, I can't see the chats any of the time I'm on my iPad here.
So yeah.
Am I the only one that notices that as you get older, you can go to bed in perfect shape and wake up hurt?
Yeah.
No.
Does that happen
yeah.
exactly? You go to
Yeah.
bed, everything's fine. You wake up, your wrist is messed up for 3
We used
weeks.
to make a ramp and roll down and come off the end of the house and wipe out in the yard and the whole thing. We're fine. Now
Yeah.
we sleep funny and we can't walk.
Yeah.
Like, that sucks.
Get up out of the chair wrong. What are you talking about?
Yeah. That's true.
Well, I
It is
refuse. I
absolutely true.
refuse to give up. I'm going down swinging. I might be bruised, battered, and can be a cane in a wheelchair, but I'm still going down swinging.
So I thought there might be some interest in here, but I can't see the chat, so I don't know if anybody's interested. That's the
Looks
problem.
like you got
Do you have a
that
fan?
honey.
Do you have a fan going in between those hives this year, Brad?
I don't actually. I don't know that it's really. I don't know. I'm getting a lot less paranoid about this system every year. I don't know that it's that necessary, to be honest, for what I'm doing.
So what temperature do you keep the barn at?
Like 40.
4C, yeah, 40. So there's a few inches between them, and I didn't push them right tight against each other, but the hive density is so low that I don't really think it's a problem, to be honest.
I was just with your humidistat there. I was just curious as to what the humidity would be, say, down in between those.
Yeah.
I bet you'd find the humidity probably in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, that's still acceptable, right?
Ian says, show him a carry colony.
A carry colony. I don't even know what they are. I can't see the lids. If I climb this ladder and fall off, it's Ian's fault.
I got L&D colonies live
I was
and
just
dead
going to
ones.
say, let's wait and get some bets going before Brad gets to the top of the ladder as to whether he's going to slip and fall or not.
That one says JM23.
Who's that guy?
That's one of the ones that you brought over here yourself here in 23.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
See,
Here's a carry one right here.
I think
don't know
there's
if
something
it's
to
going
your
inside.
comment on those Brad.
What's that?
I said I think you've actually onto something there with a couple of my queens. I'm kind of thinking, they may be a breed that I want to, or a line that I want to focus on.
No, might be. That's one of them. That's one of them because that's a 23. And remember, I only had 3 colonies.
Yep.
Really, well, 4 because I found that other one. But that's the. I think that is. No, there's 2 of them around here, I think.
So if that's one from 23, that would be one of her original daughters.
Yeah.
You might want to hang on to that one and graft from that one.
Well, I'm really hoping that they last till spring and then I can graft. That's not a good one because those are dead. Not very good for me to show you the dead one.
What was that? The one from 23? Nope, we lost him.
so at 40 degrees, do they? Because I mean, sometimes, of course, I was out in the sun here. I'll get 40-degree day, and
I guess I'm dropping out there.
Yeah, you're back now.
Yeah.
I was going to say, was that the one that I brought over in 23, Brad? That was dead?
No, look in that one. I don't think you'd be able to see it, but there's bees crawling around in there. I don't know that they're real big, but they're not dead.
Got her. So Morgan, at 4 degrees Celsius, it's kind of been shown that that's kind of our best temperature to keep them at. Not only just to keep the bees, but the least amount of food is used up at that period of time. It's kind of an optimum temperature.
Yeah. Yes, sir. It sure is. It goes. Their feed consumption rises rather slowly as you go colder, but it goes up pretty fast when you start to get warmer. Yeah. Oh, you know what? And it's really funny. So I caught somebody really watching my vlog video this weekend. I put my bees away, and when I was editing, I was watching what I was doing, and I thought I missed an entrance reducer right there. And this guy comments, "I think you missed one top row center on the back." I said, "Yeah, I noticed that. I think I can reach it." It's dark in here, but let's see. Yeah, there it is. I don't know that you can see that, but there's not very much activity over here. Come on. All right. Okay, so I fixed that mistake. There you go. That was pretty funny. Thinking, okay, this guy watches. This guy really watches. That's awesome.
Roy said he had snowing in a low of 30 and had a high flying and bees at the entrance. Mine don't typically start till mid 40s, just under 50 degrees. I'll see some.
See that?
5.0.
5. So I can see how many hours it's been running. So the heater is not run since I put them in. The low speed fan is run for 23 hours. But it has not gone into the second speed. So it's maintaining temperature quite nicely. There you go. There's the bee barn tour.
You don't have the thing on your phone that you can just pull your phone up like James does, and
Yeah, well, yeah, because
oh, there went the party.
I
The boss showed up, and now we all got to be on our best behavior.
I showed James that system, but that doesn't tell me how the fan is doing, right? It doesn't tell me how if the fan is on low to cool the barn, or if it's on high or whatever.
Yeah,
not
see,
running at all.
That's another app I got. So mine shows that the way it's all set up, the fan's sitting at about 35% right now to circulate it throughout the barn.
Hey, Ian.
I can tell you right now, Ian's got 1% battery life, and I don't even need a friggin' app for that.
Did you get that charger I sent for you?
You might have
took up a
5
collection.
minutes and it'll drop off.
Santa needs to bring you a charger cord.
Well, no, the cord won't do me any good because my plug-in's all buggered up. So I have to use one of those wireless chargers. So I have to set the phone down on his back.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
You know,
whatever.
they do sell new phones, Ian.
Well, this one's still good though. It's actually, I like it. It's an iPhone mini. It holds in my hand. I can't buy another one like that. The other ones are too big. Well, it's whatever. But this is real. It works really well. Except the camera is starting to screw up on me. So my videos, I'm limited to. I can't zoom anymore, which is annoying.
Actually,
So I might have to buy one.
And apparently
iPhone
your
mini, what is
rear
that, like
camera
an
doesn't work, or your front camera doesn't work.
My
Did you say that on your video that your front camera didn't work?
I can't zoom in anymore. I have to zoom out to about 0.9. Otherwise, it goes like this with the zoom all the time.
I was going to say, I think we've got a whole drawer full of those iPhone minis at work that we don't use anymore. Maybe I should send them your way.
Ooh, I would take one for sure.
You know, I think all you have to do is pop the SIM card out and put your SIM card in the new phone, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. I love this phone. Yeah.
All right, but to let you know how frugal Ian Stepler is, when I went to visit him, I'm not going to say, but he uses duct tape to secure a lot of things that I personally probably would have replaced. That's all I'm saying.
If you can't fix it with duct tape, you're not using enough duct tape.
And if duct tape doesn't work, then you got to dig out the haywire.
Yeah. Duct tape's the man sewing machine, isn't it?
Handyman's secret weapon.
Yeah. Fine line between being frugal and cheap, right? So I'm not sure which side I'm on. I'm probably on both sides at the same time.
So if it stops working regular, it'll start working again with duct tape. And once the duct tape fails, then it's time to replace.
Yeah. Because if the duct tape holds, Bob's your uncle, right?
That's it. No need to buy anything.
Right.
So you got everything in the barn, the new AC running.
Yeah, beautiful day today. Just a little bit of snow, so everything's nicely white. Like I think we had about 2 inches of snow today, and the trees are all frosted up. Not a breath of wind. Like count the days we don't have wind. It's just a beautiful day. A little bit of sun, a little bit of cloud, a little bit of snow. About -15, I think it is. So not too cold, but the fans are running pretty steady. Yeah, I've put together a plastic air duct system to help distribute the air a little bit better, and it seemed to be working right on the money. Yeah.
It's like Ian's like the Bob Ross of words when he's talking about his weather and how beautiful it is. And I was waiting for him to say, and my 2 dogs were running off through the field.
No, my dogs are fat and happy right now. We shot 2 deer, and we just quartered their carcasses, and we took the easy cuts, and then the rest threw out into the pile, and they're gnawing away at that. They're just they're by the fireplace stinking up the place right now, and they're just sitting there fat and happy. Yeah.
Yeah, but
What?
But
Who is
Gorilla
that
Tape
guy?
is okay.
Yeah.
that sounds about par for the course.
Hey, Bob, something happened to my camera. I got to try and fix it. I might drop off, but
All right.
I'll come back.
Yeah, I put that plastic air duct system in. I never really fussed over it too much until now, but now that I have that refrigeration system, I restrict the airflow a little bit just to help conserve energy. And because of that, my CO2 levels, I noticed I was playing around with it with my fresh air intake, and I shut it right off. My CO2 levels went right through the roof. Talked to some guys in California about it, and they're telling me not to worry about it, just to make sure I have even distribution of the air through the entire room, just to make sure I don't have pockets, like hot pockets of high concentrations. So I put that air duct in, and it's evenly keeping the room cool through the whole shed within half a degree in place.
Is that the duct in that has little round holes?
Yeah, I made it out of vapor barrier, so I used the full.
Got her.
Yeah.
I cheated. I just, being a tinsmith, I actually made mine out of spiral duct, and I did the exact same thing. I just punched, I think it was, I think if the calculations were correct, I think it was 3-inch holes every, I think it was 8 inches or something like that, or 10 inches.
Okay.
And I just ran that all the way down. So that it actually works out really well, especially if you put the hives so that the air would flow down in between them. And that seems to work very, very well.
Yep, I like this. It costs $20 and just about half-hour time. So I think I might, knowing me, I'll probably reuse it next year. But
Duct tape it up next year.
Yeah, new
duct tape the holes and make new holes where I want them. But it works pretty well. I don't know why I didn't do it before. It's so easy because I have it hitched right on to the air intake itself. So and it goes down the length of the room. And on idle, you can hardly feel the air coming through. But I have set on purge just to help move the air a little more briskly, with like intermittently, so you have more of a purge of air going down the aisles, and it exchanges the air pretty nice.
Right on.
I shut the one vent shaft off because I think that's not needed anymore now, because I don't have, if I need to cool the shed down, I'll just turn the refrigeration on and not to worry about the high air flows through the shed.
Got her. Put it on a cable so you can just push it back out of the way or not.
I could do that. Never thought of that. That's a good idea. Yeah. I might just take it down just as easier to clean and stuff, but we'll see. Simplicity is the best. I keep things as simple and basic as I possibly can because I don't like if I put a system in like yours, that actually would be ideal. As soon as I figure out my floor plan the way I want it, long term, I think I have something figured out now. And
There you go.
more of a permanent structure like that might be in the cards.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, if I took it down, I'd probably put it on the floor or put it outside, and then I'd run over it or put it through the snowblower or something, right? Then I'd end up having to make a new one anyways.
So when you turn your refrigeration on, how do you measure your air exchange?
So mine's set up a little bit different because it's a reefer unit. So really what the reefer unit does is only on and off based off of the air temperature. I've got a mixing chamber and a fan now that I can control how much outside air, how much air comes from the reefer, and how much air from inside. And that's something that I can control basically off of the phone. So there's nothing automatic. If I own the building, I would put in a complete system, but being as I'm just renting the building, I'm kind of limited as to what I can do with the holes and the openings and stuff like that. So, how I would probably do it though, like as far as the air changes per hour, I'd have to do some calculations based on, how many cubic feet are in the building, what you got for fans, what your fans would put out for CFM. And I mean, you could set that up very easily with a 3-way modular damper. A simple little Honeywell unit could do that off of and a couple of damper rods would do that very, very quickly and very, very easy.
Yeah. Do you measure the air exchange according to how much CO2, what the levels are, or how do you figure that air exchange?
Well, you could. Last year, I worried about that. This year, I don't have enough bees to worry about the CO2 level. But no, yeah, I mean, you could easily do that. You could set up a couple different parameters as to what would open or close that mixed air damper.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure out what my minimum air exchange should be. So I was trying to figure it on CO2 concentrations because I figured, well, that's a good measurement of air quality. So I was playing around with it, and I was keeping my CO2 levels around. I think I was trying to keep it around 2,000, 2,500 there for a bit, just to see. Like I have that shed to capacity, so, and I have the in regards to volume, but I have the refrigeration units. I have enough of them, so I have redundancy. So I was playing around in regards to what my air exchange should be just for efficiency. I don't want to cool air. I don't have to. So I was talking to a guy down in California, and I said, I had it up to 5,000 parts per million. And I said, I wasn't so sure about that. That's pretty high in CO2. And he kind of laughed. He said, well, what we do down there, because it's warmer, I suppose, they bring their bees in and they're trying to mimic cold weather is what they're trying to do, is trying to cool them down, right? And so they exchange their air in the evening and then again first thing in the morning when the air is coolest. But he shuts his vents right off and he runs up to almost 3% CO2 levels through the day and then purges it down to about 2,000 parts per million at night. So he's running a cycle like this. I'm like, whoa, that's pretty high. And I said, well, is there any chance you're knocking mites down on that? He said, oh, no, you got to get up to around that 5% to do that. Did you find, what was your level where you found mites being dropped off?
Yeah, anything over about 5.5 to 5.8.
Oh boy, that's walking on an edge then.
Yeah, don't go above 5.8. Hey. Bad things happen.
I asked him if he dabbled with that, and he said, "Oh, I'm not that brave."
You never want to go, like I said, anything right around 5.8, you're going to start seeing casualties.
Do they tell me what do they do when they start to get overwhelmed with CO2? What's their symptoms?
You'll see them starting to shake at the door, believe it or not. The entryway, they'll come out and they almost they'll just start shaking. It's kind of interesting to watch.
When do they start doing that? Do they start doing that after 5 or more to 5.8? Or when is that?
I don't have that because, of course, I was in and out all the time. I wasn't there watching all the time, and I think it would be good to have a camera there to watch that.
Yeah, I never thought you can't be in there at that. Yeah.
Right. So everything that I was in there, of course, under your SCBA and everything. But the other thing that I think too, like everything I've read, I found kind of that 5.8, but I don't know how accurate my monitors and stuff were. Everything that I've read and the guys that I've talked to said that bees are usually good to about 6.2 to 6.5%. Mites obviously can't. And what ends up happening with the mites is they start dropping because they can't control their and maintain their humidity level or the level in their body is what ends up happening. It affects their nervous system somehow, so they can't regulate that body moisture, and as such, that's why they die. It's not from, say, a CO2 poisoning or anything. They drop because they can't control their water level or their humidity level in their body, which I thought was really interesting too.
Wonder how long at that duration, how long did it take for him to start dropping?
I'd have to go back and look at my notes and stuff again. I think it was like 36-hour mark, something like that.
Oh yeah, boy, I am so tempted and I'm scared to death too at the same time. I keep having this, there's guys that run hog barns and you hear about catastrophes. A guy goes into a slurry pit and then another guy goes in to get him and another guy goes in to get him. And it'd be the same thing in the shed here. You would just drop and you wouldn't be able to, like, you just suffocate.
No, like I said, make sure you've got all of the proper PPE if you're going to do that, and take the training. PPE is one thing. Take the training. I
don't know if I'd ever do it just because I have so many people around this farm. You'd have to have doors that locked up, and you'd have to.
Yeah. You need a magnetic lock and stuff like that on there so people can't get in there, right?
Yeah.
Gentlemen, I'm going to jump off here. Y'all take it easy.
All right, Morgan.
Yeah,
Good seeing y'all again.
See you later.
Hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving.
You too. We had Charlie in waiting.
Charlie in waiting.
Hey guys, got in a little early tonight. Surprise. Good to see you there, James. Haven't seen you for a long, long time.
Yeah, I've been busy.
Yeah, riding the boat around the Caribbean, huh?
Floating in a pool of death, as Ian would put it.
He's when he retires, he's going to be.
I'm telling you, I don't know. I just shudder when I look at that boat. You're going in the open ocean on that. I can go in the lake.
James is going to be a rum runner in a couple years.
So,
bring some packaged bees up from the States, Al.
there you go. Well, it was funny because when I was down there walking back and forth, the palm trees or the palm nuts down there are just starting to bloom. And of course, I reached up and I pulled down some of these palm nuts, and they're just covered with bees. And of course, the bees are walking around. People are walking by, their eyes are this big, as if to say, "What on earth are you doing?" It's like, well, I find this interesting, and they're all sitting back like, oh, and it's like, oh, I'm okay, trust me, But they were just going all over those palm nuts, which is just white, so you can see they were getting pollen and everything like that off them. That was just absolutely snow white. Like it was really interesting to see. But they look at you like you're nuts when you reach up and you grab a handful of palm nuts covered in bees down there. They think you're absolutely completely nuts.
Are they wild colonies or are they managed colonies?
They're managed colonies.
They're managed.
Actually, I didn't realize Grenada actually has. They've actually got a beekeepers association, and on an island that's 12 miles wide and 21 miles long. I didn't think they would have that much, but it's quite a. They export honey, to be honest with you. So.
Okay, honey producers then. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, honey producers, but on a different scale than what we're used to. So I went to one of them down there, and they were one of the bigger farms with 28 hives. And everything's done manually down there. So they were uncapping some honey while I was down there. They're using a bread knife, and that's all they use. They use a bread knife to uncap it, and they got a 4-frame hand spinner. And I'm thinking, I needed to take video of it. That way Charlie wouldn't laugh at me with my 12 frame.
Do they get paid for the honey?
They get paid for the honey. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
More than us.
I didn't find out what it was. Everything down there is in an Eastern Caribbean dollar, so things are a little bit skewed. But I don't know. I didn't get into where they export it to or prices or anything like that. I was asking them like if they've ever seen a creamed honey. They had no idea what that was. Being a spice island, where they produce cinnamon, nutmeg, and cloves, they've never flavored their honey. So I kind of showed them maybe some of the things they could do with their cinnamon, and they were just absolutely mind blowing that, I'd put cinnamon in the honey, and then they tasted it, and you could just see the light bulbs coming on.
So Brian wants to know: are they treatment free down there, or do they have varroa?
I did not spend enough time there, but when I go back, I fully intend to find out to see what they have. They do have Africanized bees there, so that's one of the things that they did say. They're not all Africanized, obviously. They got a lot of pests down there too, so they do have the Asian hornet down there. A few things like that, but which I was kind of surprised being that far away from anywhere. But I mean, I guess those buggers come in and out of boats and everything all the time, right? So,
Wow.
I wonder what their total honey production is for the island of Grenada. It can't be that much.
I don't think so. I mean, I think Ian farms more square footage than what that island is. Literally, it is literally 21 miles long at the longest point, north to south, and it's 12 miles wide at the longest point, east and west. It's not very big. That doesn't take into account, cities, houses, streets, things like that. So there's really not a lot of land down there. Lots of ocean, lots of liquid death.
Liquid death.
That's going to stick with me for a while.
Well, just watch the ocean. It's like it's like hands reaching up just to bring you down every time. It never stops.
Grenada's export volume for honey is 1,200 kilograms. They import 8,650 kilograms.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
So Ian produces more honey than the entire island of Grenada consumes.
Well, it was funny because no matter where you went down there, you'd have a cup of coffee and you'd ask for honey, or a cup of tea and ask for honey, and they're like, "No, it's too expensive. It's too, you can't put honey in your coffee." And I'm thinking, "Oh man,
Well, what are you going to do with it if you don't put it in your coffee?
I don't know.
Put it in the jar and look at it?
Who knows? We are renaming the boat, though. Does anybody know anybody guess what the boat's going to be called?
The SS Minnow.
It's got to be a female name. The Queen Bee.
The SS Minnow.
No, it's going to be the CB.
The CB.
SEABEE.
Like the Navy CBs.
So,
how long is that boat?
38 feet.
38 feet. That's a lot of boat.
It's 3 John boats long.
Yeah, 38 feet, full V-berth cabin, full king-size bed at the back.
Wow.
So, full galley, full salon, full. She's equipped.
Does it have a
19,000.
casino?
What's that?
Does it have a casino?
No casino. 19,200 pounds empty weight.
What are you thinking? No casino? Got a buffet?
Well, it's always got a buffet. It's going to be my boat, Brad. And the bar will always be open just for the
and
record.
a bar.
Yeah. Well, the bar will probably be closed from like 12 to 12:01.
12
Got to restock
12.
it sometime.
Gotta go to the John.
But yeah, no, it's exciting times.
Just trying to find the price on the honey in Grenada, but it doesn't show on this Insights.
One of those
I'm gonna
things
hop off, you
you
guys.
have to ask, you can't afford it.
I will see you guys later.
right.
1%.
Phone's dead already.
This time I'm saying goodbye. I'm not just
No Irish, no Irish goodbye.
That's the only way Ian could save his part of the 1%.
Absolutely.
Like the other night, I got to tell you this one thing, Blake.
Yep, gone.
It's like cliffhanger.
That was funny.
And he was gone.
James, they really call you a snowbird down there then, right?
Well, I imagine they probably would. Yep. There's a lot of actually I was surprised how many Canadians were down there. In the harbor looking around, how many boats are flying the the Canadian flag. There's a lot.
Wow, interesting.
So
The Caribbean Beekeepers Organization.
yep.
But that's several islands.
Hey, you can open up a new honey market, James.
Yeah.
You can import honey from all of us.
Well, if I was going to import honey, I think you missed the part where I said the honey house is full, the garage is full.
I was thinking outside of the box.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Let's see. You guys are way too talkative tonight.
Yeah, we got quiet all of a sudden.
You guys are going to make me feel dead air.
Charlie, you have snow on the ground right now? I
No,
forgot.
yeah, we don't have anything.
No.
We're dry.
want some?
No, not really. Anything I did today was I had a, let's see, that spot right behind me there where that yellow hive was, I filled it with a nuke while it's finally got down in the 30s and 20s. And I screened them off and ratchet strapped them up and put them on a hand truck and trucked them on down there and put them on position for next spring. And that's about all the bee work I've done, except for OA every couple of weeks.
How do you like that bee lift?
The B1, the B3 hive,
Yeah.
hive, I love it.
Told you you'd like that thing, eh?
Yeah, most definitely.
Holy crap. Randy said he sold 240 pounds of honey for $1,440. What's that, $12 a pound? $6 a pound? To do my calculations.
Math is
Divided by 240 pounds. $6 a pound. It's not bad in bulk.
No.
James could always smuggle honey there. See,
Hey, Bracken.
when you go down there, though, you go down there with honey and you bring back snow, but the other kind of snow.
Snow or rum.
Oh, they do make a pretty good rum down there. I'll give them that one. So, and lots of seafood. Seafood is cheap down there.
4 out of 3 beekeepers are bad at math. That's true. Truth.
It's that whole dyslexic thing. 10 out of 9 of us are, right?
Brad, you're awful quiet over there. Getting tired?
I got nothing interesting to say, I guess.
I watched your video there, Brad. I finally got the idea of what you were doing with all that deep box, filling that thing all the way up with
Okay.
chips and everything.
What
Well,
do they
they
call
call
those? A Vivaldi board? Is that what they call it?
Either that or a quilt box.
Quilt box.
Usually they're only about, I don't know, maybe a medium thick or 6 inches or so.
Yeah, I have some of those. I don't have enough for my hives now, but when
Use it. If you're in cold weather, you need a little little more, right? I did Google it and try to find out some R values, and it looks like I'm running about, I think it was R8 or a little more on those, which no, it was about R10, I think, which is about 2 inches of polystyrene, which is what people normally run here on a cover. So looks like it's about, what people normally run for R value. The added benefit is the desiccant qualities of the wood chips to absorb moisture and not let moisture hurt the bees, and just to hold that moisture, because the bees actually cluster on that screen. They'll cluster right up against those wood chips.
Yep. That's what.
Do you think they're drinking the moisture out of the wood chips?
Well, I suspect they might be, but that's just my guess.
That Bill Heschbeck, that's what he told me. He said on the condensing hive, he says, make sure you put a screen or something on there. He said, I didn't do that when I first started it. And I picked that lid up and there was about 3 pounds of bees hanging on that thing. And it went right in the snowbank.
Oh.
Yeah.
He said, make sure you separate the insulation from the bees. Because they will grab that screen and stay right there.
Yeah.
You know that lid that I have that you take the cap off and you can pour the feed right in the lid? Well,
the blue one that you had, was it blue?
That's gray, but it's
gray.
You know which one I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So I poured straight syrup in there to feed, right? And they ate it. And I came back and it was straight full of water from condensation. So that lid might it does have thin insulation in it, but I'm just wondering if if that's actually a benefit to have that on there, because it's catching all the water that's dripping on the inside, right? It should stop that from.
But when I ran my hive heaters, I did kind of the same thing as what Brad did with that I called it a Vivaldi board. But on each end, what I did is I took the router and I routed like probably a 1/2 inch slot about 6 inches long. And then where Brad put the wood chips, I did the same thing, except I put them inside of a jute sack. So I could put the sack right in there. So the wind would actually blow through to take some of that condensation out, but it couldn't get down into the bees. And I found those worked really, really good. The unfortunate part is they're all piled up behind the shed now because the bees are all inside. But I did find that slot, especially in minus 40, you would actually see the steam rolling out of that slot.
See, that was my observations my first year. My first year keeping bees, I didn't know anything. And just my observations, what I did my first year in the fall, I was feeding with mason jars, and I made some feeder lids, I called them, and they look a lot like Bob Binney's double screen board, except they only had one screen, like they had screen on both holes, but just one screen. Not so I would put my jar on that and feed the bees. And it was kind of a prototype thing for me, and I had some OSB sitting around here, and I built it out of OSB, which I knew was a crap product to build it out of, but I thought, I'm going to build these and see if they work, and if it's something I want, I'll build them out of something, good material. So I used those during the fall to feed the bees, and I noticed that when I took them off later in the fall, and it was quite late in the fall I took them off, there was a lot of I'm going to say witness marks of what the condensation and frost and whatnot levels were at that lid kind of thing. Now, they weren't insulated, right? So we'll just say that. So that gives me a good visual as to, what am I normally dealing with here with these bees? And again, it was my first year. I didn't know anything. And so I could see that. I could see in the middle, it was more wet, and you can see OSB when it gets wet, it starts to swell up. And then on the outsides, I started to get frost collecting under there. And so I thought, okay. And that helped me to understand what this quilt box would perhaps do for the environment in there. It was pretty interesting to see. And then, I used these quilt boxes my first year, and none of those colonies died. So I thought, well, that's a pretty good recipe. And I've had a couple of beekeepers start over the years, and they picked me for their mentor. I don't know why they do that, but they did anyway. And so they're asking me, well, how do I winter outdoors? And I said, well, I don't know, but I do know this. And so I give them the recipe that I used my first year, my only year wintering outdoors, and they had really good success with that recipe. And that included quilt boxes. So that's kind of why I went back to that. It's just something I've used, is something that I kind of can depend on. I know it works. I know it can work. So that's why I used them. It's no, there's no magic to it.
Well, if it works, run with it. That's about all I can say.
Now, I didn't want to change too much. I might not always use them, but I didn't want to change too much right away.
Right.
I've changed enough, right?
Did you see Bracken's comment?
I don't care. The link's pinned, right? Isn't it?
Yeah, it's there. Bracken, just click the link if you want to come in.
I don't know how long we're going to keep going.
Yeah, I seen on another video here recently where he made a quilt box. I'll say, I don't know, 5 inches deep, and he put some type of cloth on it, muslin cloth or whatever it was. Put the chips in it like you did, the shavings, and then he put that on the hive, and then he had the outside of the hive wrapped like yours, and then he put like I think it was a medium super on, but he filled that thing up with 2-inch styrofoam insulation, like 3 layers of it, and then he put all that on the hive and stuff, where he was saying, you got the insulation, no ventilation at the top, but the shavings would absorb any moisture.
Yeah.
Stuff.
And to me, if you're wanting the shavings to absorb moisture, you kind of have to ventilate it. You have to get that to go up in there somehow, and that's why I ventilated. And I did change one thing when I used them before. I did have 2 inches of polystyrene above the wood chips. I didn't do that this year because I was kind of thinking about that. I was looking at these vent holes, and I was thinking, once you get up to where those vent holes are, you're pretty well dealing with atmospheric temperatures. You're kind of above.
Only thing I had question there.
Put 2 inches of polystyrene kind of in the top of the box, they'd come down to where the vent holes are. It wouldn't really do anything for me at all. It would just spend money.
Yeah. The only thing I was looking at your design is like, where goes James going? I was wondering whether you really needed all those vent holes in there. If only a 1 or 2 of them would have been a plenty.
Yeah, that's what I used before. That's exactly what. And I also have one of these guys that I mentor. He's actually got quite a few colonies now. He's retired, and he's doing this as a sideline now, and he uses quilt box every year. So I actually went back to him and started asking him about his experience of the quilt boxes, and that's exactly how he has constructed his, with six 2-inch holes.
And then he filled it all up with all that shavings and stuff.
Yeah, well, he put the 2 inches of polystyrene at the top as well, and I talked to him about that too, and I said I'm kind of wondering if that's really necessary at all, and he came back to me. He said, yeah, I wonder about it too, because it doesn't really seem like it makes that big a difference to have insulation at the top like that. So I don't know. Mm-hmm. And there is some insulation value there. It's just wood shavings and not polystyrene. So
yeah.
So anyway, thanks for watching, Charlie.
Yeah, I mean, I was just sitting here waiting for customers to come in, and was watching it. I was like, oh, that's how you're doing it. And I was like, why so deep and all this other stuff? But I knew that you had them boxes, then they were older and stuff.
Yeah, I used some pretty crappy boxes. They're some of them were barely good enough for that. They're quite rotten, but I can always cycle them out. Did I get kicked out of the house? No, I came out here. I was going to do some work, and then I thought, hey, Bob, you want to do a live? And he said, yeah. And so I got nothing done. But my wife thinks I'm working. So
You got the man cave.
that's right. Yeah. So,
Shoot.
yeah, it was, it was all right. I had a pretty good day that day. And, going out to get the wood chips. And they're so compressed that I actually bought twice as much as I really needed.
Yeah,
About 4 bales, and I didn't get through the second one.
they sell them here, different, especially the horse industry. They have them out there.
Yes.
Either compressed like that, or they sell the wood pellets where they expand when they get moist.
Oh, yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay, Brian. Thanks. Yeah, there's something about that I want to kind of talk about. And this I learned from my woodworking side about cutting boards. And there's actually studies that have been done about wooden cutting boards versus plastic cutting boards. The whole food service industry, the regulatory agencies will not let you use anything but a plastic cutting board.
yeah, I've heard that.
Those things are absolutely the most dirty, filthy, bacteria-ridden thing that you could possibly have in your kitchen. I would recommend, if you have a plastic cutting board in your house, throw it in the garbage. You'd be better off and get a wooden cutting board.
Yeah, but now, and the thing of it, did it tell you what wood it was the best for that because of bacteria?
I don't remember if there was a species.
Hard maple actually will kill the bacteria.
Yeah. Well, most woods will, decrease or kill. So wood in general will kill bacteria. And that makes sense to me when I look at Marla Spivak's work with propolis, because propolis, and part of the work with propolis is bees do not change propolis. They don't process it at all. They use it as they find it. It's not like nectar. They gather it, they use it. They don't change it at all. And so it comes from trees. Well, trees have antibacterial properties. We know that from things like cutting boards. So that was not a surprise to me at all. The propolis would have antimicrobial properties. But I know that people who use wood shavings and sawdust for bedding know that the viral counts in their bedding product after their animals are using it are way down, because as opposed to using straw, because straw doesn't kill the microbes, but the wood shavings or wood sawdust does. So that's pretty interesting. Wood is pretty amazing that way. And besides, people say, oh, wooden cutting board, you can cut the fibers and it can end up in your food. So it's a plant. I'd far rather eat wood than I would eat pieces of plastic off your UHMW cutting board.
Yep.
Well, guys, it's almost 7. And for me, you know what that means. It's
Bedtime.
almost bedtime.
Bedtime.
Yep. And 8 o'clock is Tim and Hannah tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, another hour.
Another hour from now. And wood is better on horses than straw.
Yeah, I sell it all the time.
Right.
I don't even have to give a pitch to the horse girls. They are in here fighting over it.
Yeah, the chicken farmers, guys who have chickens, they love wood shavings.
Well, the straw, it gets wet and stays wet, and they got to used to using wood, and it absorbs the sawdust does, and that's what they love to have.
Mark's back in the saddle working. That's good news, Mark.
6 max. Let me see. Trying to catch up with the comments.
Well,
thanks for making it so I didn't have to do too much work out here. More work tomorrow, though, I guess.
Thanks for holding you up. Not to mention, it was your idea. It wasn't my idea. It was
It
your
was
idea.
my idea. Yeah, but you know, it's kind of
So
like
thanks for allowing me to hold you up.
it's kind of like, you know, a mother saying that their child just fell in with the wrong crowd. Well, sometimes your kid is the wrong crowd.
Right. This is true.
So it was my idea, but
You sucked me right in.
that's right.
But anyway, at this point, hey, this Tuesday I should be able to get live because Wednesday I should be off. So unlike last week,
Awesome.
should be back on schedule. But at any rate, I think well, now here comes Big Mike. At the last minute. Nothing like the last minute, Big Mike.
New Hampshire Mike.
Well,
Hey, Mike.
I had to finish my supper.
Hey, you don't have too many light bulbs up there or what, Mike? I always wondered. You always look like you're in the dark there.
He's a silhouette.
There.
I put a bigger light in.
Oh,
He had to finish his supper or he couldn't come outside and play.
This one died. So this is the little thing that you usually have.
What's new, Mike?
Hold on, I gotta shut YouTube off. One
What's
second,
new?
I gotta shut YouTube off.
Okay. We'll let you shut YouTube off.
But yeah, I should be back Tuesday night. Should be fine as long as I don't have something chaotic happen.
Just getting bees ready for winter.
You don't have any snow yet?
Yeah, we got a inch or two. Must have been yesterday morning. 'Cause I woke up all fired and ready to go and looked out and it was white and I was pissed off.
that sucks.
Have your snowsuit on out there working bees?
No, t-shirt.
T-shirt.
Long sleeve
Must be
tie.
related
all
to
day,
Brad.
29 degrees out.
I did that today. People looked at me like it was funny. I had to chuckle to myself because I went to the gas station and it was 49 degrees or something. And I'm in the same t-shirt, right? I had jeans on, but just this t-shirt, pumping gas. And I look at the car in front of me and there's this young man who's got a full like goose down winter jacket on. And I'm like, I just chuckled because I'm thinking that's what Brad thought when he picked me up from the airport. Brad's in short pants and a t-shirt, and I'm sitting there probably got a stocking cap on and gloves. And
Bob brought all his clothes and he was wearing them.
I've got an acclimate to this because I'm out in it all winter. So
Night, Corey.
Yeah, good night, Corey. But yeah, that's the. I just had to chuckle at that because I figured out that must have been what Brad was thinking when he picked me up. If I come this year, I'll wear short pants out.
All right. And it was warm when I picked you up last year.
Yeah, it was actually surprisingly warm.
yeah, you were having a Manitoba heat wave, weren't you?
Yeah, a February heat wave.
Yeah.
Thank you for that, Just Be Coy.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
But yeah,
I had to wear my short pants and t-shirt. You might not recognize me.
but yeah, that's the. I tell you, if there was no like immigration rules between the countries, if it was just like one big landmass that nobody regulated, which would be beautiful. But
Well, that's how it is now.
it would be well, yeah, for our side that is the case. For their side that is not the case. So I mean could totally see myself going up there and getting a tract of land and bee farming. I could.
When I was younger, I mean, we could go to Niagara Falls and go back and forth the borders without any passports.
So your driver's license, right? Yeah, we're just going.
I don't even know whether they even did that. You stopped at the toll plaza and it said, Oh, we're just visiting. Okay, see you later. That was it. And then you come back the other way. Well, did you buy anything? No. That's where you put everything in the trunk.
Yeah, that's what they always just want to know if you know.
How much cash do you have on you? $100?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
get a-
they got
And that was
used to
it.
be the border, in the very highest border in New Hampshire. They didn't run border patrol during the night, and you had to. It was all cameras, but you had to drive. Even if you were just going into that town, you had to drive like 3 more towns down and check into the next border.
Really?
Yeah, in Vermont.
Even though you're already in the country, you had to go past it.
Actually, you had to go out of state.
That's
You had
funny.
to go into Vermont.
That's funny.
The good old days.
Well, I mean, and I looked into it after going up there. I did look into it, and I mean, Canada's requirements to legally enter the country. I mean, you have to be verifiable. You have X number of dollars in the bank. They don't want you coming in and living off the government. At least not me. They don't want me living off the government, but that's the thing. Okay, got a question for the group. Insulation values per inch of rock glass, snow thatch roof.
Rock, glass,
You're talking
Rock
about,
wool.
rock and glass don't have much R value at all.
and that
Almost zero.
is that rock and glass, or is
Well,
that
The
red?
Roxel.
Google's got a lot of that.
In the R value of
A lot of those tables and stuff.
Mark says the State Line liquor store has 10 cars, and the State Line pot shop had 65 cars.
Rock doesn't have good R value, but rock has thermal mass. So like if you have something that's, say you built a beehive out of cement and it had 6-inch cement walls in this beehive, and your climate is such that your temperatures will drop fairly dramatically overnight, but still nice and warm in the daytime. That probably would be a pretty decent material, because whereas it doesn't have much insulating value, it has high density, so it has a lot of thermal mass. So the cement would actually stay warm overnight. And conversely, if you get a super hot day when the sun is very, very hot, hitting that cement, it's not going to warm up very fast. So it for short periods of time and dramatic temperature fluctuations, it can have kind of this similar effect in, say, my climate, where it can go to minus 20 for 2 months. No, you need an R value. You need a thermal decoupling, so that the bees can then keep that cluster warm in that hive.
They said thought the R value of snow was interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty good, and not only is the snow have pretty good insulative qualities, it's porous, so you don't suffocate if you're under the snow. You can breathe in there, and it also is a wind block. So like Charlie, you see the carpets, he does that for wind block, so that there's no wind chill on the hives. So that's what snow does for me. And it also keeps the sun off of them to eliminate that solar gain in the daytime, so you don't have those fluctuating temperatures up and down, because bees can stay warm. You don't have to keep the bees warm. You don't need the sun to keep the bees warm. The whole thing is keep the bees a consistent environment in there.
What is the R value of snow? Was that discussed earlier?
I haven't looked it up, what it is, and it would change too depending how densely it's packed.
That's what I'm thinking of. Rock wool. That's when he kept saying
Yeah,
rock.
Rockwool.
Yeah.
Oh.
And there's also a Roxel board, which is made on the same similar thing. I use it. It does have an R value, and it is dense, and it's also fire retardant, bug retardant.
Rock wool actually has a higher R value than fiberglass.
Well, rock wool is actually just the orange or the orangey looking at insulation, right?
This stuff I use is green.
Yeah, the stuff I use is kind of a gray green.
Yeah,
Okay.
but they also make it in a board, Brad, which
Yeah.
is fantastic. And I've used it
But the
many
bat,
places.
this
Yeah.
this building has rock wool bat in the walls,
Yeah.
and it has a higher R value than fiberglass bat insulation.
And also a higher burn value.
And it does burn. Yeah.
Nope.
It actually, like, fiberglass doesn't burn, but it melts, right? So if you get a fire and a wall burns, the insulation will melt and the fire will go through the wall. Whereas Roxol is the brand
Yeah.
here. The rock wool,
Yes, Michael's.
Yeah,
Melt.
Roxol.
it doesn't melt. You get a fire and it burns the wood off the wall. It won't burn through the insulation. It won't melt the insulation.
Says spun slag. So I don't know what that's steel slag or what.
No,
Sure,
Rock-
I think it's
it's-
all kinds of crap.
I think it's rock.
And you can get, there was mentioned sound deadening. It's two products. Is you can get insulation, and then you get a sound deadening product. And I think the difference might be the sound deadening product might be just a product that's not guaranteed to have an R value. Perhaps maybe it's more of
I
a,
will look. I have the bags in one of my
maybe it's
trailers.
more like, I always kind of wondered, like, why would they have two products? Why would they have a sound deadening product and installation? But I'm thinking maybe the sound deadening product is almost a byproduct. You know, the bats that don't certify as such and such an R value, maybe that goes in the sound deadening pile. I don't know.
I used it as the last insulation in a crawl space in a overly insulated house, and it was 2-inch, so it went under the floor joists, and screwed all up, so there was no wood showing, so the house virtually couldn't burn from the basement up.
I like it.
And that's-
I really
yeah,
like
it's nice.
Yeah, I like handling it when I'm insulating a building. A lot of people don't like handling it because they're used
No,
to
it's a total different product.
yeah, it's totally different than fiberglass. And if you try to
You
handle
can't-
it, you think it's like fiberglass, you're going to hate it because it's not. It's different.
Well, guys, I have to hop off. So I'm going to end the live stream. You guys can sit and talk as long as you care to, but I've got to go.
Well, have a good one, Bob.
All right, guys, y'all have a good evening, and we will see you on the next live stream.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.